Welcome to Salt Pig. We are two cookbook writers chatting about the ups and downs of actual home kitchen life. And what are we talking about this week, Lucas?
This week we are talking about the convenience foods that we like, convenience food in general. We realize we're a little bit snobby when it comes to convenience food, but we try to grapple with, and I think we have a really good, kind of thoughtful, timely conversation about it.
Yeah. Join us. You can find new and old episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, and check us out on Substack too at saltpig.substack.com. All right, let's get started. Last night I was making the kids broccoli pancakes for dinner.
Oh yeah, they love those.
They love those, and it's like literally like the most perfect kid food because it's like so much broccoli and like cottage cheese, and I put almond flour in them and eggs and regular flour and like a little baking powder, and it's like they love them. But the thing that's
healthy.
Really healthy, they're like hot out of the pan, they're totally delicious. Like you just grind it all up in the food processor and just like make it into little pancakes.
Oh, yeah. This is reminding me of something that a private chef told me once, which is that anytime you turn a food into a fritter, a kid will eat it. It's so anytime, I mean, anyone will eat it. Maybe I'd even go so far as to say, like, everybody loves like a hot little fritter. Yeah, this is like out of the pan. They're just like, And I've put like all sorts of weird, it's like cooked broccoli, but you could use like other cooked vegetables, or I've thrown in raw spinach or whatever. It's like all blended up anyway. So they're very yummy. But I think the thing also, in addition to it being a little fritter, that the kids love about it is that it has... that you dip it in tomato sauce. And I think they think that's really fun, which got me thinking, because I usually just use jarred tomato sauce, which for most people is a totally normal occurrence. For me, it's like a pantry
somewhat...
staple. Yeah,
a pantry staple. For me, it's like a somewhat new thing that I've gotten behind. And I was remembering, like before I had children, and like I did crazy cooking projects like practically every night, I used to be like, why are people so into jarred tomato sauce? Like it seems so ridiculous. Like I can cut up an onion and saute it in some olive oil and add some garlic and add some tomatoes, and like it could be as basic as that. Like what's the big deal? It doesn't really take any time or energy. And then I had children and I was like, you can't be doing that all the time. I
Just
still do it a lot.
Less pot on the stove. Yeah.
Totally. One less pot on the stove. And I still totally like guilt myself into I'm like, I could just open this jar. I'm like, well, it will only take 5 extra minutes. I still like go on that seesaw. But jarred tomato sauce is kind of a game changer for me, which I have to like, I mean, like when we make pizza, I used to make like homemade pizza, and then I'd like make the sauce and I'd roast vegetables ahead of time and make the dough, and like I'd make it so hard for myself, but I kind of enjoyed it. And now I'm like, I just don't have that sort of time and capacity to sort of take on a project of like so many different stages. So I'm kind of into jarred tomato sauce now.
Are you picky about the brand?
I am kind of picky about the brand because I do sort of want it still to basically be like my tomato sauce, which is just like onions, garlic, and tomatoes and olive oil.
Okay.
So I do at Costco, I usually buy, they have like, is it Rayo's, how you pronounce it?
Oh yeah.
And it is quite delicious actually. And it does taste like, I don't think it has, I should check the label. I don't think it has like added sugar. I don't think it's like, it's not funky. I feel like a lot of jarred tomato sauces, you're like, this is, really sweet, really processed. That doesn't seem nearly as sweet or processed. So I'm kind of into it. But it got me thinking about convenience food, which is our topic today.
Well, I also keep seeing that people are obsessed with Alison Roman's tomato sauce. I haven't tried it yet.
I haven't tried it yet.
She's canned it or jarred it or whatever, and sells it now, and it keeps selling out. And supposedly it's really good, and I think it's converting a lot of people, such as your pre-children self, to the world of pre-made tomato sauce. Yeah. I mean, do you ever buy pre-made tomato sauce? I don't. And I think part of it is that tomato sauce is just not something I cook with all that often. Like when you said that you use tomato sauce on pizza, I'd always just take canned crushed tomatoes and spread them
And
on
just
top of pizza
call it a
crust.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm like, I don't know, I just don't do a lot of tomato sauce based pasta.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the things that I do love to buy that are pre-made, and that, I mean, that you could make the argument that it's the sort of thing you should be able to very easily cook for yourself, are like those Indian simmer sauces.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever make those? I mean, those are a little bit more complicated. There's like more ingredients and a lot more, maybe more skill involved in terms of balancing out all the spices and things. But those are great.
They are great. We got really into those during COVID. That was like a big treat for us, is like stocking up on those. And especially when the kids were little, it just felt like, yeah, that's a great call. I haven't had those in a really long time, but they're yummy. And some of them aren't, they're not easy. Like, they don't have a lot of junk in them probably.
No. There's the Maya Kamal.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She's been around for a long time and makes really good ones. And then also, this is a friend, Chitra, Brooklyn Deli. She makes these simmer sauces. She has this cashew korma that's really, really good.
Really?
And you just like kind of fry up whatever protein you want, dump the stuff in there. Sometimes you have to add a little bit of water and then serve it with rice, and it's very easy.
Yeah, those simmer sauces are the perfect example of something where you're paying for the work being done. Like, there's a lot of work in the kitchen that I really don't mind doing, that I kind of take pride in doing, like even in the tomato sauce. But I'm like, a simmer sauce, I'm like, that is work that I also like to do on my own. But I'm like, man, I know the value of that work, and it's more work than I want to put into it right now. So I'm like pretty willing to pay up for that.
And there's a fair amount of skill in it that's acquired through, knowledge and experience and everything.
Yes. And my Indian food, I'm like making tomato sauce with 3 ingredients. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's pretty basic. But I'm like, yeah, making like korma. I'm like, okay, that's, I can make a korma, but it's probably not very, it's not going to, it's not going to be very officially correct.
Yes. I feel like the thing that I always come back to with, and I'm really curious to hear like what your go-to convenience foods are, and to discuss mine. But like, I just realize the older I get, the more finicky I am about ingredients, and like I just know that the more convenient option is not going to be. It's not going to have the same standards that I like, and primarily like from a health perspective, I think, and like quality of ingredients and stuff. That's where I like decide against going the more convenient route.
That's absolutely right. And there's so many convenience foods that I used to eat sort of without thinking about it, that now as an older person and as someone who's like feeding my kids, but also just feeding myself, I'm like, I just don't really want to, as convenient as canned soup is, and I will buy it for my kids. They like Italian wedding soup, but I'm like, it's really yucky. So it's like it's hard to find those convenience foods where I'm like, this is worth it, both from like a financial perspective, but also from a health perspective, where I'm like, I make homemade soup so often that I'm like, buying a can of soup seems sort of silly. Like, that's just like a planning error on my part. Like, I should just be making soup and just keeping it in the freezer for convenience. But then there's things like, I was thinking like when I go to Trader Joe's and like buy, like cruise through the freezer aisle, I'm like, there's some convenience
Perception
foods.
Is everything.
Totally. There are some convenience foods that I'm willing to kind of go for, even with all that said. Like Trader Joe's like orange chicken.
I've never had that.
It is not especially high quality. It is not even especially good, but like sort of all orange chickens, maybe it like scratches such a particular itch that I'm like, I've started buying that as like an alternative to us getting takeout, which is so expensive, especially for the 4 of us.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, like, we can just have like a freezer bag of Trader Joe's orange chicken, and everybody's so excited about it. That like, that seems like very convenient and very worthwhile, even if it's like, I mean, it has these plastic packets of sauce that I can only imagine are like 80% corn syrup, and the rest is like yucky artificial flavors and all that. Like, but I'm like, at least it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I know. There's like, sorry, I don't want to sound like, I mean, I too enjoy going to, eat fast food every now and then. And, like, I don't
Do
want to,
you?
I'm not completely like,
Right.
not actually that often, but like, I don't want to, I'm not going to ever say, I'm not going to like rule anything out completely.
Right.
And like my Trader Joe's is actually a perfect place to have this conversation because I
Yes.
feel like the freezer aisle there, for some reason, food people like us think of that differently than we would like the frozen section at Safeway or the Associated or whatever grocery store is around here. Somehow there's like some aura of acceptance.
I think that's right. And to be honest, I don't even really think about the like bad ingredients that are in Trader Joe's foods, even though I'm sure they're just as much there as they are in any other supermarket. But I'm like, it's Trader
I'll
Joe's.
bet
I'm like,
it's the
sure
same manufacturers
well,
as
right. It's just
all the
white
other
labeled.
grocery stores. Yeah,
Totally.
exactly.
Totally.
I like at Trader Joe's, so we'll just acknowledge that.
Yes,
There's a Trader Joe's bias in this house.
Yes,
and,
big bias.
But I love, Hetty turned me on to these, Hetty McKinnon, the cookbook author, the Thai vegetable dumplings.
Those are the best. Those were
They're
on
so
my
good.
list too. They're the only frozen dumplings I really want to eat. And it's funny because like I eat plenty of meat. I love a pork dumpling probably more than most people. Those veggie dumplings are the best. They're so gingery.
Yeah.
They have the
spicing is perfect.
The spicing is perfect. They like the skins are delicious. The filling's delicious. They're all vegetable. I'm like, I like if I go to Trader Joe's and I can buy one thing, it is those dumplings.
The other thing at Trader Joe's that I have not yet tried, but I keep seeing written about, and Samin Nosrat mentioned this recently, the scallion pancakes.
Oh yeah,
Have you had them before?
Those.
I can't find them.
But I read her article about. Doesn't she like put a scramble? She like scrambles an egg and then puts one on top.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious.
And I mean, as much as, scallion pancakes are a good example of something where I'm like, that's probably kind of easy to make that I've never tried to make. And I probably never will.
They're not as easy to make. And they're one of those things too, at least for me. I don't know if other people are like this, but like, God, I'm sounding like such a no fun, like health freak, but the amount of oil it takes to get them properly
sure.
like golden and crispy is just not the sort of thing that I think a lot of people are going to be willing to do at home on a random Tuesday. But then when you buy them at Trader Joe's and they've been like pre-fried and frozen and you don't have to think about that, it makes kind of all the difference.
Totally. I guess that's sort of what I want my convenience food to be in a way. I want it to be sort of a naughty food that I actually couldn't really make at home, basically. But I feel like, they can sort of build in all the work and all the stuff that maybe you don't really want to think about when you're making it yourself.
I think there's that. And then there's also like bringing a level of expertise that I don't necessarily have. Like, I feel like that's kind of the thing with condiments, too.
Yes.
And Chitra is another example. So her company, Brooklyn Deli, makes these amazing, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but achars, like the Indian pickles. And so this tomato achar is just so good. It's so delicious. And it's the sort of thing that probably takes a long time to make, requires a real like depth of knowledge about spicing. And then the fact that you can just buy a jar for $8 and have it in your fridge and like add all this crazy insane flavor to your scrambled eggs is that's especially to me what a convenience food is really valuable for.
Absolutely. Especially like at a spoonful at a time. You're like, maybe it costs $8 to buy the jar, but like that jar is going to at least last a bunch of meals.
And I mean, $8 for, and maybe that sounds expensive, but I think a lot of work goes into making it the way that she makes it too.
Totally.
The other type of convenience food, this is skewing like international foods heavily, but I love like a Korean grocer.
Yes.
Where there's all the prepared, like, little, I think it's like bonchons, but like you can just stock up on these delicious seaweed salads and like mushroom salads and like prepared things. And they're all so good and so fun. And it's such an easy, fun way to like just throw something like new on your plate.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's not a great way to describe it, but
it
delights me to no end. That's like, that to me is like a really exciting and fun convenience food.
Yes, and they are sort of almost like a condiment, again, in that if you make a cucumber salad or a kimchi or like some bean sprout thing, you're making like kind of a huge amount of it. It makes more sense to then just buy that outright than be like, I'm going to have like bean sprouts for the next like 3 weeks, and then they're all going to go bad, and like the whole thing is sort of a bust.
The Korean grocer near me, I don't know where she gets her tofu, but the tofu comes in these giant bins, like big, like those big plastic tubs where like
yes.
you often see them used to like bulkerize doughs.
Yes.
But it's full of tofu in its own little green basket, and so you use. I don't know. It always like strikes me as a little bit unhygienic, but maybe
it's
that's
just random
me.
tongs.
You just kind of like grab you grab some random tongs, and you don't ever have a good grip on the basket. So slipping in there, and inevitably, like you got to use your hand in order to like get into the water again. Anyway, it's a really, really nice tofu. It has like such a good texture. Similarly, all these like pre-made salad or pre-made little like garnishes and salads and things are like, I don't know where I don't think there's a kitchen there, but wherever they're coming from, they're just so expertly made and so delightful to eat.
Yes, it's funny. I haven't thought about that. I used to be near a grocer that had the tofu sort of pool, and I loved it. Was such good tofu, and it's so fun.
And so like, fresh. You really taste the freshness.
Yeah. It's kind of a totally different product. Similarly, have you ever had frozen kimbap?
No.
It's kind of like a maki roll in a Japanese restaurant, but it's the Korean version. They're like bigger and thicker, and like sometimes they'll have like fried tofu in them, or sometimes they'll have like grilled beef, but no matter what, they have like at least 2 or 3 different preserved vegetables in there. So they're like really colorful.
I've definitely had them before, but I've never tried it. So they are frozen. Then you like reheat them in the microwave?
They're frozen. I've gotten them at Costco, but also my regular grocery store has them. And you reheat them in the microwave, weirdly. And so you eat them like warm or sort of room temperature. But they are such a treat. I mean, like, it's like if you don't want to spend the money on ordering in sushi, you put 4 of those in the microwave, and it like you're like, now this is a real treat.
I'll have to pick those up next time. Do you ever buy, and I'm going to guess that the answer is no, pre-vegetables?
I'm so glad you brought this up. I don't buy pre-cut vegetables. Do you ever buy them?
I don't ever buy them just because I used to work as a prep cook in a restaurant. So like I'm very comfortable with a knife, and I can break down like a butternut squash or a celery root really quickly. And I know what I'm doing. But people are really intimidated by the amount of prep work that vegetarian and vegetable eating requires. And especially those big squash that if you aren't comfortable with your chef's knife or a cleaver or whatever, it's really intimidating. And I hate that is sort of like the vegetable prep is the barrier. And so I don't have like a hard stance on it or anything. But I think it's like great that even though you're paying a premium for it, I'm really glad that like these pre-cut vegetables do exist out there, because it like helps people to learn how to cook.
Right. I think that's true. I think it's kind of a baby step for people who maybe don't have the time or the comfort in terms of breaking all that stuff down. Though I will say, I mean, this is like what I tell my kids all the time, like if you do that stuff every day, you do get really efficient at it. The problem is that stuff just doesn't, I hate to say it, it doesn't taste as good. No. And especially like, like bagged kale. Do you ever, I just stopped buying that altogether because it has these huge hunks of stem in there that are so yucky. And
and then it's pre-chopped. And so then you have to go through and like pull off all the woody stems.
Yeah. And it's just tastes kind of old. I don't know. Yeah. I've never used like pre-chopped like onions and carrots and celery and stuff, but I also can't imagine that holds up that well.
Whenever I order something on Fresh Direct, they're always pushing their pre-cut vegetable. The margin must be great.
The margin must be amazing, especially because they can just take all the stuff that's sort of got one foot out the door and break it down and then sell it at a premium. It seems like a brilliant business concept.
Yeah. My favorite convenience food, which I truly do consider a convenience food, is pre-cooked rice pouches, either the shelf-stable ones or the ones that you can buy in the freezer.
Yeah.
That to me is just, it feels kind of like luxurious to not have to, even though I have a rice cooker, even though that's like, and the rice cooker could not be easier. It's just like one of those things where you just didn't plan and you want rice like right now.
I could see that. I could really see how that would be very convenient.
Do you ever buy those?
I don't.
But you
But
will like freeze leftover rice, so
I will
you
freeze
essentially have the
leftover
same
rice.
thing living in your freezer. Yeah,
It's true
which
because
that never occurs to me to like throw rice in the freezer.
yeah. Well, I make like huge amount when we have rice. I make sort of excess rice because you never know if people are gonna like go to town or not. So then,
Mm.
yeah, it is kind of a handy thing to like throw in a little Ziploc and put in the freezer.
That's such a good tip. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
lots of people do that, but I just never have.
that's what's kind of interesting. Like you can sort of make your own convenience food. I mean, I feel like I do that with beans all the time where I'll like pressure cook a ton of beans and then not have a plan for half of them and then stick them in the freezer. And I am pretty psyched when I remember those beans in the freezer.
Yeah.
I mean, canned beans are amazing. I use canned beans all the time. But it's and that's like a convenience food that I really rely on. But you can sort of do it yourself too if you
I'm wondering if
plan
anyone
ahead.
even considers canned beans a convenience food
I
anymore.
know. When
To
I
me, it
was
feels
making
like
this
just
list,
such a like staple.
I was like, I'm really setting myself up for yeah. Tom was joking when I told him we were talking about this. He was like, "Does sliced bread count?
Yeah.
Like that's a convenience food for
does
you."
bread bought anywhere count? That's a convenience food.
Exactly.
Make your own bread. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, okay, point taken. One thing that he reminded me of is that like when we first had the kids, we I had like made some pasta or something for dinner and like pulled out like a hunk of Parmesan. And I remember him being like, sort of like drawing this line in the sand. He was like, we have two babies. He's like, we do not have time to grate our own cheese in this house. Like,
Oh my God.
he was like, this stage is over. Like, if you want to have Parmesan around for your own things, fine. He's like, I need some grated Parmesan. I want it pre-grated and I want to be able to just sprinkle it on my pasta. And I was like, all right.
I sometimes do recipe testing with pre-grated cheese because just because of like the clients that I work with, but I'm always like kind of I'm grossed out by it. It always has this like stuff around it. It doesn't melt nicely.
It does have,
But
it's like mixed with all this like cornstarch. And I just am always imagining like some factory floor with all this grated cheese on it that's just sort of getting swept into bags. I'm
yeah, and
just
it always
like,
seems kind of like dry. And you know
I
when you
know.
like grate cheese from a block fresh, I'm just so inclined to just snack on it.
Yeah.
But when I like look at a bag of pre-grated cheese, I'm like, that's not going in my mouth. I like mix it
Yeah,
into whatever its, final destination is, but I'm not going to eat that on its own.
I know. And again, it's one of those things where I'm like the extra ingredients for that, like you're paying sort of a health premium for that a little bit in that like there's other stuff added to it that's
Right.
like making it stay fresh when it's grated and it's not as good and it's more expensive. I'm like, ugh, all that stuff added up. But I don't know. I've become like less, doesn't sound like it, but I've become a lot less rigid in my old
I mean,
age.
I think that's also there's I remember, Jess Damock, who she wrote Salad Freak, and she used to work for
Oh, yeah.
Martha Stewart as like I guess I don't know, she had some like salad title, but I remember reading an interview with her. She was just making the point that cooking is the work that the work of all this stuff that's what it is,
Yes.
and I found that to be kind of like profound and impactful because I don't know, in my day-to-day work, I'm always like, how can this be easier? How can this be more streamlined? What's the hack that can like unlock this? And then being like, oh, actually, this labor is the thing. That's the thing.
Yes.
But then again, that's also coming from somebody who's not, in the process of raising young kids
Right.
and like it has the luxury of like working out of a kitchen all day, a home kitchen all day.
Totally.
But I think it is, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of conversations lately about really valuing and respecting the labor of domestic work and kind of like, what's the word? Is it exult or exalt? Like when you just want to like really dignify something.
Yeah. Yeah. Celebrate it.
But like, yeah. And the work, like the work of caring, the work of, of nourishing, the work, like it's really too bad that it's so undervalued in our society because it's like
Yes.
such a skill and it adds so much to our lives. And It's and to our health and to like our overall, like the whole cycle of life and the planet and everything. I just feel like it's a bummer that it's like the last thing to be considered, and all these marketable things that are meant to make life easier for us.
I totally agree. It's interesting. Did you read that New York Times article recently about people getting takeout? It was like a DoorDash.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I understand. I get it. It really bums me out, though. Do you ever
Yeah.
do
I mean,
DoorDash?
we get takeout maybe like once a week or once every couple weeks. Like we've actually really taken it down for a variety of reasons, but it's so fun. I mean, there's nothing more fun than getting takeout. Oh, actually, I
Mm.
think going out to dinner is much more fun, but so that's part of the argument. But I do find it really sad, just the idea that like people really are spending so much money on it. It
Yeah,
feels like
somebody in
such
there
a
was
waste of resources.
$700 a week on like DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever.
Right.
I
It
know
just
that really
seems
bums me out.
I know. It
I
bums
know.
me out too. And but on the other hand, I mean, obviously it's like you and I both work from home. That's a
I know. Yeah,
privilege.
we totally.
And like and we have the ability to do this like pretty efficiently and all that. But it's so I really feel for people that don't have that time, that don't have
Mm.
that sort of accessibility to their own kitchens to make some of those easier choices. Like I can pressure cook some beans while I'm doing some work, whereas other people, if they're like traveling to,
Yeah,
their
totally.
job, it's just that's the kind of stuff they really can't do. Um, so that's a big caveat. But I do think there's something really beautiful in doing that work and like taking something raw and whole and making something really nice out of it that really like is nice because you're starting with like these whole ingredients.
And also, just the more, uh, I feel like the more you do it, the more you just deepen your cooking IQ, and
Yeah.
the more you learn about it. It's like the same thing. It's like I spent very small amounts, but I've had these little like farm excursions where I'm like, oh, God, this is so enlightening to like look at how beets grow and how just to understand like what or like why certain vegetables are better after the first freeze of the year, or
Yeah.
like all these things. Just like, I don't know, they help cultivate so much more of an appreciation for the food that's on your plate.
Yes.
And sorry, that was just like a long-winded way of saying that. Like, I think that cooking the food, seeing the ingredients together, shopping for them, putting them in your fridge, wrapping up the leftovers, it adds all this value to the labor
Yes.
of it.
Yes. Yeah. And you're kind of part of this cycle, which I feel like does, I don't know, it sort of connects you with the earth and with your family and nourishment and then composting and like all this stuff. It sounds sort of woo woo, but there's something actually kind of cool, I think, to be a part of that process and like, and not have it involve like some big factory somewhere or,
Yeah, or
a bunch
this like
of,
tech company that's just like
right.
extracting money from all these local restaurants, putting them out of business, then creating all these ghost restaurants at like a fraction of the cost.
Oh,
I mean, it's so cancerous what this
yeah.
is doing. Like, I understand the convenience of it, but it just like, it's so bad for our neighborhoods and for restaurants and basically for everybody except for this freaking tech company that has like
Yes.
limitless ability to scale,
Yes. I think that's
and
right.
off the backs of these like really hardworking people who are putting so much labor and intelligence into like restaurants that they've created and food that they
Right.
make.
Yeah.
I don't want to like shame people for doing it, but I feel like they need to like be a little bit more critical in their thinking about using DoorDash and Uber Eats and like all these online services. I sound like the biggest blowhard on this episode, and
No,
that's just like,
no.
that's who I am. I'm sorry, guys.
I think part of the convenience food aspect like preys on people. I
Hmm.
mean, I think it's sort of like it's like the social media of the food world where you're just like it gets you where you're vulnerable, like
Yes.
there's something about convenience food. It teaches you that like you don't have time to chop an onion or that
Yeah.
you can't make tomato sauce at home or that
Right.
you know that that
That any amount of work is too much work.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think there's an alternative to that, which is like maybe you're not making your own Indian curry every night because that would be too complicated for you, or you don't have expertise in that. But like there's other stuff that you can cook, that you can do from start to finish, that's pretty simple. It's not going to be orange chicken, maybe, because that's a big pain in the ass. Or it's not going to be kimbap because you'd have to make, 3 different banchan and saute some, beef and cook rice and do all this stuff. But like, I think people are a little bit, they're being convinced that they don't have the skills to cook. And I think that's really kind of a shame, because I think these are just skills like any other skills that if you practice them, and then you can get better at them and you can figure out how they fit into your life. And the fact that they're so much more economically possible for people. If you go and you buy a bag of rice and a bag of beans and a bunch of whole vegetables and even like a whole chicken, like, I mean, getting like chicken parts, obviously also, you're paying a huge premium. This is the way
most people used to eat. Not that long ago. It was just this was just like food.
That's cooking.
We weren't presented with these options, or even, anyway.
Right. I feel like we're all susceptible to that, to sort of be like, totally. I'm just too tired tonight. I mean, I'm certainly susceptible to that, but
I know, I am too. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
I think we all are.
We all are, but it does really have an effect. And when you're thinking about this stuff that you're literally like putting in your body, it is. It's complicated.
Yeah, it is. Okay, well, on that note, what are you having for dinner tonight? What are you ordering from Uber Eats?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
who is sponsoring
awkward.
This episode?
I think we're having burgers tonight because a friend of mine's having a reading, so I'm making dinner and then I'm jetting out of here. But the kids love burgers.
Like beef burgers, regular?
Like beef, regular burgers. Yeah. And talk about a convenience food that I really don't like, but that I buy when we have burgers, are burger buns. So
what if you're like, well, a burger bun is too much of a convenience food. I usually make my own.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, but my version, it just takes 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I buy like potato buns, and everyone's very happy.
The Martin's ones.
The Martin's ones.
I know, those are really good.
They are really good. What are you making?
I am doing, I have beans soaking right now. I feel like I'm often making chili, but I'm trying to like work out a recipe. And this time I'm going to experiment with, have you ever cooked with TVP, textured vegetable protein?
No.
It's basically like soy dehydrated that you then rehydrate, and it kind of functions as like meat crumbles. And it used to be big in like the 70s, in like that sort of heyday of vegetarianism. And I feel like it's making a little bit of a comeback because it's like, it's actually got a good like amount of protein in it, and it's very easy to cook with. So I haven't had it in a really long time, and so I'm not entirely sure how well things are going to go, but I'm going to try a chili with TVP in it.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
What sort of format does it come in?
It's like it looks like breadcrumbs.
Oh.
It's dry in a bag, like Bob's Red Mill brand is the one that I got.
Interesting. And is it like a whole food, or is it like a convenience food in a way? Like, how processed is it?
That's something I should know. I want to say that it's kind of like the soy. It's the soy part of the soybeans extracted.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not entirely sure. Textured vegetable protein. Yeah, I would bet that it's like the soy part.
Okay.
Or the protein part of the soy, like the soy isolate sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Which actually, now that we're discussing this, I'm wondering that doesn't sound that good. Speaking of, that's like definitely convenience to not have to strip the soybeans of all their stuff besides the protein.
Totally. Yeah, I wonder. Oh, well, I'll be interested in how that goes. I mean, it is nice to have a meat alternative. Like if it's kind of pre-cooked, kind of.
It's dried.
Okay.
Yeah. So you rehydrate it with some kind of flavorful liquid, or I think you can just do water. But we'll see. I'm just going to see how it compares to like ground meat, and how I want to be able to have a recipe with options in it.
Yeah. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I'll report back.
Yeah, definitely do. All right. Well, on that note, I guess we should take off.
Okay, until next time.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.